Welcome to Happy Hour Holidays, your go-to podcast for entrepreneurship, business, and life stories. We cheers to people that come out of the box and make it on their own with nonstop hustle. And today in studio, we got your host every week, Manny Fresh Fabre. And then we got our co-host, Sean Fabre. And in the house today, we got ultimate hustler, entrepreneur. He's flipped $1 million homes, all kinds of homes. He's been in the medical field running offices. He's got a new physical therapy office that's going to open up here shortly. We got Hector Sanchez. What's up, Hector?
Guys?
How's it going, man?
Good, man. Good. Happy to be here.
I like the shirt. United States of Freedom.
Yeah.
Ultimate, bro.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, like, you are somebody who appreciates the United States because you were born in Cuba, right?
100%, man. I feel like most of the people that value freedom the most are the people that never had it and then got it. Because some people take it for granted, obviously. So, yeah, no, I was born in Cuba. I left when I was 5. A lot of Cubans leave Cuba, right? So it's nothing crazy. I left when I was 5. We lived in Venezuela for a year. So we lived there for a year. And then my dad came first to Miami. And then we pretty much stayed there for, I want to say it was like 2 or 3 months after.
In Miami or?
No, in Venezuela.
In Venezuela.
So then we...
Yeah, but that was probably like from one communist country to... Was it as bad there?
When we lived in Venezuela, it was before Chavez.
Oh,
so
before.
it was like good Venezuela. I mean, there was still like robberies and stuff like that, but I mean, it wasn't nothing like it is now, right? So we lived there. We found a connect that was gonna that said, listen, just leave us your apartment and we'll get you out of here. And we're like, shit, let's go. So it was my sister, my mom, and I was 5 turning 6. Well, I was 6, and my sister was 4. Wow. And my mom, so they put us on a plane with fake Venezuelan passports. And they said, you could make sure that those things are not in your hands by the time you land in Miami.
Why?
So on the flight, I'm in the bathroom with my mom. My mom's like with a nail clipper. She's like chopping up these passports, just chopping everything up. And you know how they have like leather bound, so some of them are hard to cut. And I'm like holding the door, making sure nobody's coming. I'm 6 years old. I'm holding the door. I'm like, what the hell's going on here, So yeah, everybody has one of those crazy ass stories. And then when we got here, Clinton was president at the time, and he had just signed the law. I mean, I don't remember what exactly the law was, that whoever came into the country illegally or without papers and stuff had to go to like a detention center.
Gotcha.
So there's a detention center in Miami called Chrome Detention Center, and that's where we got from Venezuela. We went straight there for 2 weeks before we were, released to go into.
Why'd you have to chop up the fake Venezuelan passports?
Because it was fake. It wasn't like, we're not Venezuelan.
Oh, so it'd be a crime. Or
yeah,
something.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we're like, I don't know what. And then like Cubans that get to like like the wet foot, dry foot type deal.
Yeah.
So you would just claim political asylum, and like the stewardesses were like bitching at my mom. She's like, they're like, you're a scumbag for putting your kids through this and all that, because they get fined for having this. Like
really?
the airlines, they get a fine for like pretty much like it's like human trafficking type deal, right? So they were like all pissed, but my mom's like, whatever, like we just got off the plane. I don't give a fuck. I'm here already.
Dude, I mean, and that's what we were saying, people take that for granted. It's like, look at what people go through, and you got to take a leap of faith, because, even the person that says, hey, I'm going to hook you guys up and get you to America, you don't know if it's going to go through.
You just met them there. They're trying to get your apartment, so there's an incentive for them.
I mean, you kind of call them coyotes? But that's more Mexican, right?
That's more Mexican. This lady was just like somebody that had like, she had somebody that she knew that worked in the airline, and they were like, yeah, just bring them, and we'll try to, get them through.
Damn, so what happens after you get put in that detention center? So 2 weeks, right?
It was brutal. Like they like the first couple days we were there. Obviously, my dad came to see us, and they were telling him, hey, you can take the kids, They're like, oh, you can take the kids, it's not a big deal. And my dad was like, no, like they're staying here, because if like I take the kids, then there's no incentive for you to release my wife, type deal.
Yeah.
So my mom was like, take him, like you're such a bad father, this, that, deal. He's like, no, I'm doing it like for a reason. And then after that, like she's like, oh, like it made sense that you didn't take him. So, but like it was crazy, because it was like 95, 96. And I remember one time, like, obviously, like my family would take my mom money and stuff so we can eat, and I ate $20 worth of vending machine chips and sodas and stuff. In 96, that's hard to do. It was like, what, 25 cents for chips? So it was crazy.
But, I mean, in Cuba, there wasn't really anything to eat, right? I mean, you come over here.
My dad.
Well, what part of Cuba?
La Habana.
So you're
the
capital.
Like the capital, right? Yeah. But still, there was like a period there that was called like the special period. Like there was nothing.
Yeah. People
would like have no food, you know? And my dad worked in like distribution of like restaurants. So he would like he would drive a truck. My grandfather, my uncle, they all did the same thing. So they all would like, just get whatever
skim off the truck. Yeah. I mean, our grandparents, one of our grandparents who's no longer alive, R.I.P. Eduardo, he would go into chicken farms, steal eggs so he could just have eggs for the family.
And that's like...
And then he actually got put into some kind of camp, like a prison camp, because he got caught.
Yeah, like my uncle, he served 4 years in prison for stealing I think it was like a 10, 15-pound bag of rice.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
4 years in prison.
For a 10, 15-pound bag of rice.
Just to try to feed his family,
yeah,
right?
It's like not like he's not like, it wasn't obviously nobody had anything, so it's not like he's trying to make money off of anybody.
Hey, I'm going to double my money.
I got it for like $1. I'm going to give it to you for another $1, But yeah, no, it's crazy. And
you still got family in Cuba?
Yeah, my dad's side.
Yeah.
My dad's side.
So you have cousins in Cuba?
I have 2 cousins. 2 of them, they moved here. One of them actually came through the border, like in 2019. So, and then I have 2 boy cousins that live over there.
And they got to go through Central America now, right?
Yeah, I was reading into it. I'm looking into it. There's like a big deal with that. There's like a huge, there's a huge part of Panama that they have to cross in order to get to. It's like a 60-mile wide stretch, and it's like predominantly like crazy terrain to like get through. And I was actually, I don't remember where I was listening to that. They had some reporter go down there, and he says that there's like 2 groups, right? So they're like the regular people, and then there's a big like Chinese. Yes, like a big Chinese like population of people that are trying to get through.
Are you serious?
And, yeah, swear to God. And it's predominantly guys that are our age, younger, like
military
age, right? Yeah. Military age, and these guys are like they have like their own like camp. So like everybody, I guess they all get together, like to cross. These guys are like on their own. They get like the more comfortable side to go cross through. Like it's crazy. Like they're allowing all this shit. So
well, I mean, the thing is that's what people forget. I mean, when you have an open border, you could be having military from
don't know who's coming through.
Yeah, from
it's
other
impossible to know.
Yeah, from other countries. Hey, now it's time to attack. You let too many people into your country, and this could happen. Where
it's planned, man.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's the only reason for me. The open border for me. Hey, we want everybody to get opportunities, but there's a legal way to get here. But at the end of the day, we don't want too many people of our enemies coming in, and then when it comes down to it and we have a world war or something like that, now you got all the enemies inside your country.
It's hard to defend from within.
Yeah, it's hard to defend within. Yeah, absolutely.
So you came here from a foreign country. You're now legal.
Yeah, I'm a
citizen. Where did you find your entrepreneurial spirit?
So obviously, I grew up in, I don't want to say a bad neighborhood. I mean, it was whatever.
Hialeah, right?
Hialeah, yeah, Hialeah. Yeah. It was like, it's not like top suburb, but it was normal. It was middle class, normal. And my mom and my dad, they bought a house like a year and a half, 2 years after we moved here. So like it was like,
damn. So what was your dad doing?
My dad worked roofing. He worked in a warehouse. He was making like $4.50 an hour.
Jeez.
My mom would do nails and then whatever on the side to make extra money.
Cubans hustle, dog.
Yeah,
Cubans hustle.
It has to. you have to do it, dog. You have no choice. The house they bought was $120,000, which is unheard of.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but back in the 90s.
Yeah, right now it's like
500,000,
700, close to 700. Yeah. But they have no plans to sell it. But
they're still living there?
Yeah, bro.
So they kept it.
They've lived in the same house.
How big is it?
It's
1,500 square feet or something,
roughly.
Yeah. And then like 3.2,
3.2. Yeah, just
damn, they got that steal.
$700,000, dog.
Yeah.
Dude, Hialeah is inflated like crazy.
But the problem with that is Hialeah, you like people that move there is like a black hole. You never leave. You're stuck there. You're stuck there.
And everybody knows everybody.
Hialeah is the best place in the world. I'll tell you why.
Yeah?
Anything you need to fix or anything you need to like find or get resolved, you're gonna find it there. Oh, I got a guy. Don't worry about it.
No,
I'll go to the guy on the street. He'll hook you up. You know, I'll go here.
Hey, go to Marco. Okay.
Hey,
Yeah,
so it's like a sense of community, almost like in Cuba, because in Cuba, a lot of the neighbors, they all were like very close,
exactly.
you know. So in
look, I'm the guy. Tell that guy my name when you get there. He'll hook you up with a better deal. But now, like, obviously, my parents hustled to get the house that they had. You know, that's what they wanted, a house and all that. So that from there you learn, when if you really want to do something, you got to bust your ass. It's not like it's gonna get given to you.
Damn, bro, and just a year and a half after moving to
that's solid, man. And that was the best thing they could have done. I mean, when you buy real estate, I mean, look how much appreciation they have coming here with nothing and now having a house that's worth $700,000 plus.
Like, it's almost
just
paid
for buying
off.
it 120.
Like they're like mortgage like $600, like insane.
Well, hey,
$600 mortgage.
Yeah, bro.
They got a yacht.
That's without the like tax and the escrow, but still, that's still insane.
That's
insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then after high school, I had a bunch of jobs, bro. Like a bunch of like sales jobs.
Yeah.
I worked in banking. I worked uniform sales. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I worked for Universe. We did. It was kind of crazy because their whole business model is like, white shirt, tie, no beard. So I'm like, walking around beardless, going to mechanic shops in a suit and tie pretty much. And the guys are looking at you like, what are you doing?
This is like 2010.
This is this is 2000. No, it's a little further along because 2000. I'm like,
you graduated like 2006.
I graduated 2007.
7.
Then I started working. Like I said, I worked in banking for a while, and then I had a job that would bring me to Tampa every week. The charter company. I used to work for a charter company that chartered flights to Cuba.
Okay.
So I was in charge of one of the cities that they would fly to, and they had just started flights from Tampa to Cuba. So I would come once a week here, work the flight, go back to Miami. Come once a week here.
So you would work. So you would go to Cuba with the flight?
No. I'll just
go to Tampa.
Go to Tampa, work at the airport,
yeah.
And then when we started driving here, and then we would come on Wednesdays. I went to Blue Martini a couple times.
I still don't know why they shut that one down. I mean, for me,
tacos.
I know, but man, Blue Martini was a vibe. You know,
it was. I thought they had closed them, but then there's a bunch of Miami.
That's
stuff.
where Adrian met his wife.
Yeah.
That's
Blue
cool.
Martini.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, no, that was like 2011, 2012. I would come here like once a week. And then I ended
drive
up here,
here,
which is crazy. We would drive initially the night before, work the flight, and then drive back after the flight. And then I told the boss, I'm like, you're wasting money on that.
Gas?
No, because you're bringing 3 people, your hotel, food, gas, all that. Just bring me, buy me a flight. I'll come the day of flight, and then I'll fly back on the same day.
Yeah, it's only like $90 too, right?
Yeah, I was like, look, and then they bought it like a year in advance, pretty much, like a flight every day. So like they saved a ton of money. I'm like, you guys are eating shit. I'm trying to save your money.
Maybe I should have.
Give me a raise, goddammit.
I told them, like, yeah, where's my bonus? So I did that for a while. Then the economy like took a shit, right? Like 2012, 13, like it got a little.
It was 2008.
Yeah, but then like it still wasn't fully
it wasn't good
recovered,
until like
and
2014.
it was hard to like like get a job sometimes.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
And I started working at Universe. Then that didn't work out too well. I'm not a good employee, bro. I'm not a good employee. I don't like to be told sometimes what to do, and I guess that's part of the the entrepreneur stuff. Like I don't want to be, oh, you got to do this, and then thinking that you can do it better than the other person, and just like, bro, what am I doing here? I'm wasting time.
Yeah.
So then I stopped working there. We had a trip planned to Vegas. Went to Vegas. And that's where I met my wife in Vegas.
Even though she lived in Tampa.
I know. So it's like she lived here, I lived in Miami, and we met in Vegas.
No bullshit.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. I didn't know that either. I told my wife that. I was like, dude, they met in Vegas. I didn't even know that.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Holy
shit. Never expect to meet your wife in Vegas, right? Crazy.
I'm surprised you didn't get married in Vegas.
You tell your mom.
Just marry me.
Dude, you tell your mom that you're like, oh, hey, you met her in Vegas. No, that's
bullshit.
No.
And then we did the whole back and forth thing for a year while I was working,
tough, man.
and it was very tough. Like
you were still living in Hialeah, right?
Right. Yeah. So I would drive here every other week. she'll fly down, you know, it was the back and forth. And then eventually I got in a fight with my boss at UniFirst, and I'm like, yo, fuck this place pretty much, you know?
Yeah.
How old were you around this time?
This is 2015, so I was like 25.
25.
Yeah,
Yeah.
25.
I quit the job, and then her dad has a landscaping company up here, and
Obisad, shout out Obisad.
He
Somehow a truck got stolen from there.
It was right around the time that I met Jenny, actually. When that happened.
No shit.
Yeah.
He did not steal the
I
truck.
didn't. I know where the keys are. No. So then I started working with him here.
Yeah.
And then I moved here.
As a salesperson, or
sales, outside sales. Like it was like a supervisor position. So pretty much I was out on all the job sites. I was measuring all the houses, spraying when I had to spray, pretty much doing everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then 2018, my son was born. We had like some differences on how to like keep going. So I decided we were not like, we both decided equally like, hey, listen, this is not gonna work out. So then bounced around a couple jobs up here, medical sales. I worked at dealerships. I worked at 2 dealerships, Western Chapel Nissan.
Car dealership.
Yeah,
right.
Bill Curry. I used to sell cars there for both of them.
So I heard that shit is like fucking. I mean, it's
There's
a
a lot of downtime.
grind, but the other people that work there, they like hate when new people come in. They're like,
because
they-
you're taking my business.
You're taking my
like,
business.
type deal.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's cool. It's just you gotta like be willing to put up with a lot of hours.
Yeah,
A lot of hours, and then sometimes you can work a deal all day and
not even get
not
it.
get it done.
No,
which
you could have
sucks.
missed out on like 4 walk-ins.
Or exactly,
Yeah.
but you know, you never. It is what it is, you know. And then around that time, my mom, she was working with mental health centers, and she kept working with them. She had like good relationships with a bunch of people, and then one day I was just like, why don't we do our own? You know, like why not?
Yeah,
Why not? You know, like you have the relationships of all the people. I can run it with my sister. Like, why are we like?
Yeah, and then
working for somebody?
when we get back from break, we'll hear the rest of the story on how they started their first office in the medical field. So we'll be right back. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for listening to Happy Hour Holidays. And we're back from break with the Happy Hour Holiday. We got Hector Sanchez right now kind of telling us about his journey from Cuba and how he became an entrepreneur. And we were just at a critical point now where he's getting into owning medical offices. And you were saying your mom had all the relationships. You're a great, operations manager running, the business. So what happens next when now you're like, hey, Mom, let's forget about working for somebody else's office. Let's do our own.
Yeah, so that like I told you, when you open up anything medical in like Florida, you have to have an ACA license unless you're a doctor, because then you're ACA exempt.
What kind of like ACA?
AHCA.
What is that?
Agency for Healthcare.
Oh, some bullshit.
Yeah. So they require you to have that license in order to run anything medical, right? So that's the first step. That takes about 3 months. It's a 3-month process to get that.
And you said you have to have a doctor, an MD who's willing to
have a medical director. Again, all that stuff. Since she already had some relationships, it was easy to get. Like everything was pretty much just get because you gotta have to have a physical location in order to submit the application.
Gotcha.
Why wouldn't a doctor just do that themselves? Why would they?
Because they rather not have to run the business aspect of it.
They just want to get paid and be
Some
out,
are just like, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a business owner. And there's a big difference from like, you guys know, owning a business to like actually doing it. So when you did the photography, I'm sure you're like, I love doing the photography. And then the business aspect, completely different aspect of, doing the photography.
Yeah, 100%.
Totally different.
Yeah, so that's some of them don't want to go through that hassle. Some of them don't want to deal with employees, don't want to deal with payroll, don't want to deal with liability insurance, all the other stuff that carries on after, you know? So we got a location. At this time, I'm still in Tampa.
Okay.
Because we talked about I'm not gonna go down until we have everything set up, because it was still working here in the dealerships while she's we're trying to get this up and running.
So this was going to be in Miami. The first
we
one.
decided, hey, listen, let's go do it in Miami.
Because they moved back to Miami.
Yeah, we lived in Miami in 3 years.
Pembroke Pines.
Pembroke Pines.
Yeah.
Well, we went to Candle, then Pembroke Pines, but so we were getting that up and running. The whole time we're still working here, and then we started the application like in August of 2019. We finally got it approved in end of November, so right around Thanksgiving.
That was a year.
No. Same year. Yeah,
3
months.
Same year, right?
Oh,
so
okay,
2019 August, we got it approved like November 2019.
Damn, then COVID hits.
Yeah, then COVID hits. But
Jesus Christ.
yeah, it was. So we moved down to Miami. We get the office up and running. We have a small office. It was 800 square feet, and we had a therapy center there. So we would get the patients there. We started with like 15 patients. Like very small.
That's good though.
Well, I mean, it's good, but the problem is that with that type of therapy, you make money on volume.
Yeah.
Right? You make a lot
But insurance pays, right?
Well, at that time it was Medicaid that was paying it. So Medicaid would pay it, but it's
Is this for older people?
Yeah,
then?
most of them are older.
Yeah, elderly. Yeah.
Right. So it's $144 a session. So it's not like you're making a ton of money. So again, volume is what makes you money.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then like you said, COVID hits, everything starts shutting down, they start closing everything. But mental health centers were considered essential, right?
Yeah.
So they didn't shut down. So we grew a lot because obviously everybody was home. Everybody cabin fever,
exactly.
And then all these old people. There was a lot of daycares, adult daycares.
Adult daycares?
You've never heard of it?
No.
So it's like
a nursery? Or no, not a nursery.
It's like a nursery.
Daycare center for adults, for older people.
So you drop off your old dad and you're like, okay, I'll come pick you up.
Actually, they have some here. But there's a lot down there.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, pretty much. Or the center actually
play
picks
some
up
horseshoes.
They pick up the patients. They'll pick them up and take them there, and they get approved. It's through a alliance for elderly or something that they approved a certain amount of hours for them. So like if they're approved for like 5 hours, they can pick them up and have them there for 5 hours.
Oh wow!
Because that's what they pay for. Or some are really bad, so they approve 8 hours. It all depends. But yeah, like they'll pick them up, take them to a actual location, and then they were playing dominoes and they're listening to music.
Yeah, conversation. They get them interacting instead of being bored to death.
Like they're not doing that.
Yeah, because their grandchildren aren't visiting them.
Well, not only that, some people
visit your fucking grandparents.
Wait, but everybody's got their but everybody's got lives, Like right, you got kids, you got family, and all that shit.
Yeah, but then when they're gone, they're gone. I mean, we can't visit our grandparents anymore. They're all buried.
Yeah, I know.
That's true, but like at the end of the day, sometimes like if you can't be with them all day.
No, you can't.
Go work, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and for them is also therapeutic to be somewhere because that means they're still interacting,
socializing.
Yeah, people when they retire, man, people start going down quick. You know, like because their mind's not at the same level. So those places got shut down, completely shut down. They were considered non-essential, which is crazy, but they were considered non-essential.
That's crazy, man.
So a lot of them closed. A lot of them were like getting by, like barely, And then our center, we pretty much had similar concept to them, but this included also clinical care. So like they would do specific therapies for depression, anxiety.
Like what kind of therapy?
It's called psychosocial rehabilitation therapy. So it's a PSR therapy. It's in groups. It's in groups of like maximum 12 people with one therapist, and they go through basic. So basically the goal of the program is to get these people to be able to function again in society without, the need, without having anxiety, without, teaching them, how to like stay hygienic, how to get back into, not needing to take this medication to sleep, stuff like that, So that blew up, like the need for that blew up.
You guys had psychiatrists on.
We had a psychiatrist that worked with us. She didn't work there, but she worked with us, so we would refer her cases. She'll refer us cases, stuff like that.
But it was during COVID. It was a huge time during all that was mental wellness.
Exactly. And so everybody's stuck at home. So and then
some of this was Zoom, or was it all in the facility?
Yeah, I was wondering that.
Some people would not. Some people were
televisits.
Zoom. Some people were Zoom, but then we had the center was Then we grew into a bigger center. We grew into a 3,000 square foot center. So,
wow, from 800 to 1,000 and 3,000, and that what was that like in a year and or not even, right?
No, we did that in like 6 months. We just
because from November and then March 2020 is COVID.
Right. So then right after March, we got the center in August. So we were there for a little bit, but then in August it was like getting to a point that we needed a bigger center. So we got into that center, and then they called them classrooms for some reason, the older people.
I mean, it kind of sounds like classrooms.
Yeah, no, but
because you're teaching them things.
Right. So we went from having 4, because the space that we were in, we grew to the space next to it. We got but there was only 1,600 square feet, so it was very confined.
Yeah.
So we had 4 classrooms. So they come in 4-hour segments. So it was 8 to 12 one group, and then the next group would come 12 to 4.
Okay.
So.
And it was 12 people max on per session.
And then they probably had to be spread apart.
And then that's when we decided, hey, listen, we need a bigger space just because we need more space. So you could
put more people.
Right, exactly. So then we had the 3,000. We had 8 classrooms.
Were they all wearing masks and shit?
Yeah, they all had masks. We had sanitation stations. All the therapists would wear their masks. They had their thermometers to make sure, And
then all of a sudden it disappeared out of thin air.
Yeah, exactly. They're all collecting dust somewhere now. Nobody's no, but they were really good about, like, for example, if they were like feeling like not too good, they would stay home. Yeah. We actually sanitized the office a couple times too, like with a professional company come and sanitize everything. Yeah. We had the drivers always had Purell in the vans.
Bro, COVID it
was a ridiculous time.
It was
we're gonna look back and be like, bro, what the fuck?
The blue tape, you gotta stay like boom,
6 feet
boom.
apart. That's what that means.
So
that
was
5 feet. What is the difference?
But 6 feet is the magic number.
Somebody came up with, and they admitted it was bullshit. They said a number, like they didn't.
When you think about it, it was literally the government trying to find out if they can control a massive population.
And they succeeded.
And they succeeded.
Really?
Globally, they succeeded.
They said, you know what? Let's come up with this pandemic, see how it goes, so we can get mail-in voting for everybody.
Yep. That's a fucking fact. It's a fucking fact.
Yeah, no. And then, I mean, really, so that was part of the reason you had to get a bigger facility too, because, I mean, with these classrooms, if you need to have them 6 feet apart,
now
you're
instead
talking
of
about
having 7 or 8 people in there because of the space, now we can have the 12.
Yeah. But once you got to a point where the COVID, regulations were over, where you didn't have to have 6, were you able to fit more people?
Right? No, so like the max you can do per class is 12.
Oh,
really?
Okay. So just in general,
so that's like a thing.
Is there a reason for that?
Right, because the therapist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So they can only
do 12 at a time. So that's why you have 2 groups. You have one in the morning, one in the afternoon.
Gotcha.
Oh.
So a therapist can see 24 patients. It's just
4-hour segments,
correct.
8 hours a day.
Correct.
But when you had,
or you could slave them out, and they could do.
You could do 3 groups.
You don't want to work 12 hours? Let's go.
And again, we're in Miami, so shit gets exploited, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you might fit.
No, there was people that were doing all Zoom.
Yeah.
So they'll have a big closet, and then they had 800 patients.
Oh my God.
And they're all just billing and billing and billing. So that killed a lot of the business too.
Bro, why didn't you do that?
I mean, because those people are not in this country. They had to flee.
Nah, man. You got to do it the right way. Eventually, you get caught.
Eventually, you're looking at it.
Well, is that illegal? Was that illegal?
100%.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, because like half the people didn't even know you're doing therapy for them.
Oh shit.
So and then at a certain point, they took away the Zoom because that's it. No more pandemic, right?
Yeah.
So then, but they were still Zooming everybody, just Zoom.
Still doing it. Yeah.
But then we were doing that. We grew, like I said, we grew pretty quickly just because of the fact that it was a necessity. There was, nothing else was happening. So we get to the point we have like 250 patients.
Wow.
So we're like, man.
At 144 a patient?
Yeah, we're like, man, we should definitely open up our own medical center. So then.
Oh, this is while you were still working for somebody else?
No, this is why we have the mental health center.
Oh, okay.
So it was mental health, and then we decided to do medical.
Oh, okay.
So then we're like, man, you know what? That'll be a good idea because that way we can, refer ourselves patients.
So the medical center, what was different from that?
Well, the medical center is a primary care. So
okay.
You go there, check up, make sure.
So like a PCP, a primary care
PCP,
physician.
Primary care physician, correct. So then we said, all right, so if we have that, then, it's easier to control the flow of patients. You know where your patients are going all the time.
And you're referring them to yourself.
Well, not only that, but you're also making sure that
which is not illegal.
You have retention right? Because if I have your primary care and I have your mental health center, and I can get something else included, then what other reason you have to go somewhere else?
Dude, how many? What's to stop you from just opening up a specialized care center like a dermatologist as well? You know what I'm saying?
At that point, you can. So when you get the ACA license,
that's what I was going to ask you. How many can you open up?
Because you got the mental, you got the primary. Now you can go into specialties.
So when you have the ACA license, you pick the specialties that you want to have under the license.
And how many can you have under the license?
I mean, you can have them all. It's just at this point now you're gonna have to have MD for this and MD for that.
Oh, so you have to have
you have to have you have to have multiples.
But that's fine. That's fine.
Well, yeah, no. If you have the clientele, then you have the clientele.
Yeah. And it seems like you're specializing in elderly care, right?
It's more the Medicare, geriatric.
So if we think about elderly, what they probably go to is maybe if you had a heart specialist. Because, I mean, I don't want to sound morbid or anything, but, I mean, their heart's not the strongest. Mm-hmm. So now you can refer your heart specialist from your PCP when you get to talking to them in their therapy. Bro, so that is fucking genius.
Yeah, the goal of a primary care medical center is to have all that, everything in-house so they don't have to go anywhere else, right? What happens is... it's not easy.
They pass away.
No, not only that. That's like the minimum. Patients, there's going to be a bunch of them. The problem is the competition kind of like
Florida.
I don't know how it works too much here because obviously I'm not in it here. I'm in it over there. But a lot of the big medical centers down there, all right, we own a medical center now, right? We're the top dogs, and then you're my cousin. So now I'm going to make an MSO, which is a managed service something. Mm-hmm. They just come up with some random shit. Yeah. And then I'm going to give the insurance that I work with is going to give you a exclusive contract.
Okay.
So now a new center that wants to open can only go through you to get to the insurance. But I'm not going to pay the person what the insurance pays the MSO. I'm only going to pay you a capitation. I'll pay you a small amount because you're new in the business. You don't know how to do it, So I'm going to give you $200 a month for patient. When the MSO is paying, the insurance is paying the MSO $5,000.
Jesus.
So they chokehold everything so that the big dogs stay the big dogs and then everybody else is
like the Florida medical centers.
I guess because they're huge here. Yes, I've seen a bunch of them. So I don't know how they're
not big
here.
in Miami?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so down there was the big dogs over there. They were pretty much the ones that started everything. They're Leon Medical Centers.
Leon.
These guys were Cuban guys that opened up from what I've been told, they went to because at that time you had to so there was a specialist for this specialist. So they said, if we open up a center that has everything, we're going to save you money. We're just going to ask you to pay us an amount and we're going to manage that. So it's called managed care. Because we're going to manage the amount you're going to give us among all the specialties. So they said, you pay us X amount of money or whatever it is that we come up with, some number. And then I'm going to make sure that patient saves money throughout the year because I'm going to be preventing them from getting sick because I'm going to make sure that they go here, they see this, they see the other. So it's preventative care, works. But then they restrict it a lot.
Yeah.
So there's people that are waiting 8-9 months to get surgery because they're don't want to they don't want to pay it. That's because at a certain point when you get at risk, you're the one that's responsible for the patient.
Oh wow!
Let me ask you a question: how much do doctors make from selling certain medications?
I know
is that where the bread and butter is?
I know there's a big incentive for them to give certain medications because the drug companies are
pharmaceutical sales. They come in and they be like, "Hey, sell my property," or something.
And then the big pharma pays the doctor, right?
It's a kickback.
Yeah. A rebate.
You do kickbacks.
A rebate.
No, but you do kickbacks,
right?
And it's illegal. So if I decide to say, "Hey, listen, come to my place, and I'm going to give you $100,"
yeah,
that's illegal. Yeah. But if the doctor, Pfizer, comes to the office and say, "Hey, listen, if you guys give more shots, I'm going to give you a $30,000 incentive."
They call it a rebate.
Yeah. That's totally legal. There's no problem there.
Really? As long as you change the verbiage to rebate,
marketing money.
It's all legal.
So they'll give incentives.
They did that John D. Rockefeller did that when he was selling oil, and he was trying to use a certain railroad company, which was Vanderbilt's railroad company. He said, hey, listen, I'm going to ship all my oil through your railroad lines, but you need to give me a rebate. Yeah. All right? Wow. And that makes it legal. If he called it a kickback, it would have been illegal. Bro, Big Pharma does that?
Yeah, man.
Holy fucking shit. Yeah,
why do you think there's so many COVID
Fuck Big
deaths?
Pharma.
We had the most COVID deaths of any country, right? There was an incentive to make money.
Yeah. Well, actually, they just called it a COVID death,
even if it wasn't.
Exactly. They died from a heart attack,
and then the doctor gets 20 from COVID. Yeah, and then the doctor gets like 21 G's or something like that for every death recorded as a COVID death. I mean,
there was an incentive for killing people.
Oh man. Oh, a minute. All right. And man, I'm loving the whole the whole podcast is going good, man. I mean, this is a side of the medical field that you really don't hear. So when we get back, we'll continue the discussion with Hector, and stay tuned and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Really appreciate all the holidayzers out there listening to our podcast. We're back. Happy Hour Holidays. We were talking about AI, and we were talking about how it's going to change the world, and how, I mean, really, I think I was watching an Instagram post where they're already saying that these are the jobs that are already going to be eliminated right off the bat. I mean, we're talking about accountants. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
I don't know if accountants will be eliminated.
I mean,
there's always going to be, accounting is always going to be tricky because you can find, little loopholes that
well, I mean,
they don't really teach the AI.
The AI is gonna be like, yo, 200,000 in taxes. Damn, dog, you can't
make it like 150.
I'll tell you what, graphic designers are probably out of the game because you can literally go on ChatGPT and then go to DALL-E, and then you can explore all the plugins that DALL-E has, and it can create it. It links up with Canva, and Canva it'll create specialized posts.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want. You just have to describe it, tell it exactly. Like for real estate photography, he sent me a text. He was like, bro, can you type in Mediterranean house post? Yeah. And then I was looking into it, and then I typed it into DALL-E with Canva, and it came up with a post of a Mediterranean house, bro. It was fucking insane.
No, it's nuts. Like I did the Gasparilla one too. Like I put Gasparilla real estate photography with drones in the sky, Gasparilla ship going downtown Tampa, and there it is. Yeah,
there was a graphic designers. I was watching a video. I don't remember when I was on like X or something. That this like one of the AIs like it found a way around like the I'm not a robot.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you saw that, right?
I saw that.
So it said like I was visually impaired.
Yes.
So like
they're getting smarter.
Nobody taught it to do that, but it like figured it out.
Yep.
So it went around how you got to click on I'm not a robot
and they do the little like,
so they're like, oh no, I'm visually impaired.
Holy fuck, you saw that too?
Yeah.
So eventually they're gonna
Skynet,
Terminator. Eventually they're gonna get past us. They're gonna get past us, maybe.
They already got somebody with Neuralink, right?
Yeah, the first person
implanted somebody with the Neuralink.
Yep.
So
you know what Neuralink?
Yeah, I've heard it.
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
So that was the first person they ever did. Before it was trials with I think mice or something.
So what is it supposed to do for people that
mind reading?
Oh, it's mind reading.
Pretty much.
What it's supposed to do is what Elon Musk wants it to do is cure Parkinson's, Lou Gehrig's disease, Alzheimer's, all that shit.
I mean, it will do that, but then they will just hijack it into.
So you guys ever watch your head blowing up like King's?
That's what so then like Amazon's gonna buy into it and say, "What are you thinking about buying?"
I don't think Elon would ever sell any of his companies.
Yeah, but then somebody will pick up the technology and do it themselves.
Well, I'm sure China's already doing it too.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you thinking about? What do you want to buy?
I know. My biggest thing is the head blowing up thing.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I don't know if I want to put a chip in.
No, and honestly, sometimes I'm on social media and I was looking at something on Safari and I'm like, bro,
because it has everything connected.
But sometimes I feel like even when there's times that I'm not even looking at it and I'm thinking about
it'll show up.
That
has happened to me too,
I'm like,
bro.
What the fuck, bro? I was like, I know I didn't put it in just yet into Safari, but the times that I do put it in Safari, I'm like, okay, well, obviously,
right.
It's because I put it in here.
So it's all cookies. That's all tracking.
No, but I'm just saying the times that I, like he said, when I think about it and it just shows up, and I'm like kind of creeped out.
But you know what it is, though, Susan? Like if you talk about it, like your phone's listening to you.
Yeah.
So it might just show up because you talked about it and
That's
you really
true.
don't.
Yeah, you didn't even notice that you did talk
$1
about
million.
it.
Well, my bank account don't have it still.
A winning scratch off.
Let me get back to you when I hit that scratch.
But I mean that's something that's big. I mean, that's why a lot of people like DuckDuckGo is because it doesn't track all your activity. So like what Google does, so when you're on your IP, your internet provider at home, all right, and you're on your computer or you're on your iPad or you're on your TV.
It has the same address.
It's got the same, so it all just looks at it
Yeah.
and it says, okay, well, this is their, or even here at the office. It looks at it, it says, okay, we know what they're looking at. Let's show them this. So then when you see it, you're like, holy fuck, man, I didn't even think.
I didn't even think about looking at this
yeah,
stuff.
and then
You're
it
on
just
your
pops
phone,
up.
and then you get on the computer, and then
it's the
same
shit.
thing pops up.
Yeah.
You're like, what is going on?
So it's not coincidental. It's all
part of it.
Yeah,
Just
it's all
telling you
part
more
of it.
shit.
But there was a study that found that iPhones listen to you.
They do.
They listen to
100%.
you. Why do you think you're just chilling and all of a sudden Siri's like, okay. And you're like, wait a second, I didn't even say Siri.
I've heard it. I turned Siri off. I don't know.
Yeah,
how to
no,
use
like
it.
sometimes, like when I'm at the gym or something, and with the watch,
Get a
and I like
Galaxy.
just say something, or like I'm listening to a certain song, like this thing will start, like the Siri will go. I'm like, what was going on?
I know. I've had that happen.
and you guys,
That's why I turned
all
her
y'all
off.
have iPhones?
Yeah. I
It's
turned.
supposed to be the safest.
I don't care shit. I just like
I
it
don't
because
know,
I've had it forever.
If somebody's coming after me,
Japanese.
somebody coming after me, like whatever. Dog.
Yeah, I don't care. You want to go after me? Go ahead. You know, take whatever
Get
you
in
want.
line.
What kind of porn you looking at? Siri knows.
Siri knows. We're putting on Asian teens.
He's disgusting.
Wait a second. Bang Bros? Gay boys?
Bang Bros. They were gonna name the Heat Arena. They put in a bid to name the Heat Arena. You didn't hear about that?
No, I didn't hear
So
that.
when like
They were trying to buy the rights.
the American,
to
it was called the American Airlines Arena for like 25 years, and then they were gonna stop sponsoring them.
Yeah.
So Bang Bros put in a bid.
How much do you think
They put in a $300 million bid.
And they said no?
They said no. It was like a 20-year something, but they had to put Bang Bros.
I know, yeah.
You imagine?
Welcome to Bang
Welcome to
Bros
the
Arena.
BBC Center.
Oh, that's what they probably would say. BBC said. Oh my god. They probably wouldn't take any kind of money to
I don't think
Well, they
Any
took money
arena.
from that Sam Friedman guy. They named it
Yeah,
the FTX
but-
Arena, and then that
yeah.
lasted like 6 weeks. And
But
then
that was different though, because crypto isn't porn.
right, no, I know, but I'm just saying, like, like
They still did it. They took some
the
kind
money
of-
and it like it went way sideways.
You know what? If I ever own an arena, I would name it Bang Bros Arena.
That was epic. That would have been like there was so many memes of
of
that.
that one.
It would have been great, but it didn't happen.
It's like,
so.
do you know what Amelie is?
It's oil.
It's oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they named it after an oil company.
Yeah,
But they can't name an arena after porn.
yeah. So they named it after an oil company. Everybody's bitching about the environment.
First of all, I know.
That's a good point.
Hey, we gotta save the environment. Oh, I don't hear anybody saying Earth World Arena.
Greenworks.
Greenworks.
Climate change
But-
arena.
But going back to that, the medical centers, Hector, after you guys, because we really didn't get after.
we got off topic.
Yeah, we got a little bit, but no,
Tends to
I mean-
happen to me too.
but I was thinking once we got to that point where you guys had the 3,000 square foot, and then you started going to do the PCP, or if you did do the PCP, what happened after?
So we obviously started the process.
Yeah.
We got the place going. We had a hiccup with the ACA license because when you have a specialty, which mental health is a specialty,
Yeah.
you can't have a primary care under the same license, and we didn't know that till we were in the end of the process. So we had to restart the whole process for ACA
oh shit.
for the medical center.
Which only takes 3 months, right?
Why? But at this point, Medicaid stops paying for the mental health center. They say here to the private insurances is your baby now. And the private insurances took it because it was going to get higher, they were going to have higher budgets because now the Medicaid, instead of paying themselves, they're like, you guys figure it out, like to insurance companies. But then when they saw the expense that it was, because it's a big expense, they started going crazy. So like we had to get contracted through insurances. It was a pain in the ass. And when we were like, get it, then they would take 6 months to pay.
Oh,
They
yeah.
wouldn't pay. They would cancel contracts without telling you. Then they'll say, no, you owe me this much back. And you're like, what are you talking about? You like the therapies are done. No,
Yeah.
but like, oh, that code is not accepted anymore.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, well, yeah, since when, you know? So it became a big pain in the ass.
So, and then, I mean, you can't stabilize a business because you got payroll.
Exactly. So it's like, it was all over the place. And then eventually it like panned out. Everything worked out for a little bit. But then like the main insurance that we had said we're no longer going to have contracts with any mental health centers.
Jeez.
So they canceled everybody's contract.
Oh, wow.
So
COVID disappears and then everybody's like, oh.
Who was that?
It was not an insurance. It's an insurance. It's Care Plus, but they are subcontracted. So they subcontract a company to handle their mental health department. So it's called Magellan. They have their own insurance up north, but here in Florida, it was just for like managing the mental health. So they're pretty much like the middleman between the insurance and the therapy centers.
Mm-hmm.
So they stopped. They canceled all the contracts. And
how funny is that when they were pitching that shit so hard about mental wellness?
Yeah, like everything.
And the commercials and then all of a sudden, COVID's over. Okay, fuck mental wellness.
Yeah, exactly.
There's still people suffering from it.
It's too expensive, Like,
I mean, that's programming. Is really what it was.
Yeah. It was
just a big experiment.
Yeah, and it worked because they're still fun. You walked on the street sometimes, you see people with masks, and I'm just like, bro, what are you doing, bro?
Like, bro. Oh my God. When you're driving down the road and a person is in their car by themselves and they're in a mask.
The best ones are the ones you see with the mask, like they put the mask on, they're like smoking a cigarette. Come on, dog.
No, I think the funniest one is they put it below their nose and they're like here sitting there.
I actually saw that on Saturday. We were eating somewhere. I don't remember where, and there was a guy sitting like down the way. I'm like, look at this guy. He was wearing a mask down here, and in the restaurant, I'm like, what are you doing?
The thing is that I never saw it at all, like before COVID. Like I never used to see it. I mean, it
was huge in China.
Well, in China because the air quality,
like in
because
Korea too, and Japan, like they use that.
I used to see it with them.
Here, you never saw
you
that.
Never fucking.
I'm like, they have these. Like
now, if you get
like you see it a doctor, like a surgeon or something.
I still see it
when they would do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see it all the time. People with masks.
I still see it. It's 2024, guys.
Yeah. It's time to move the fuck on.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, no, because it makes you look like you're a little bit
distinguished member of society.
Look at me.
You're doing your part. So Jesus again. So we
it's twice.
I know. Yeah. Third times you're out. So then that went sideways. At this time we're still trying to get the medical center up and running.
Yeah.
So we were told, hey, listen, your contract is going to be good for the medical center. Like you're fun. Like we already had ACA at this point. We have everything. Now we're trying to get insurance contracts. So then we have to go through an MSO because obviously new clinic, they're not just going to give you a full risk contract because it's not going to happen. They're like, your contract is set to start September 1st. Okay, cool. So the mental health center is pretty much shit at this point because there's no contracts, so there's no money.
This is all operating throughout the same building, right?
No, this is like, okay, so we tried to have a medical center in the same building that we were in, but there was one on the first floor. So it was like a non-compete type deal. So then we had to go get another building. So we're in another building, way more expensive rent, like 3 times as expensive as the one.
How much, if you don't mind?
So the one that we have now is 2,700 square feet, smaller, and it's $8,900 a month.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's a grip.
Yeah. So the one we were at was 3,000 square feet, and it was $5,000 a month.
Jeez.
So it's a big difference.
So 300 square feet less, fucking
$4,000 close to $4,000 more.
What is it, location or the quality of the building inside?
No, it's probably inflationary rates.
The time. Right. Like the buildings got sold, somebody bought them, they hiked up all the rents, and relatively speaking, that was one of the cheapest ones we saw. Wow. We saw some that were $30,000 a month.
Jeez.
For 7,000 square feet.
Where's the clinic located? Or
it's
the medical
it's right off. It's unincorporated Miami-Dade, so it's next to Sweetwater and Doral.
So what city is that?
Miami, just Miami-Dade. Yeah, it's just Miami-Dade.
Miami.
So at this time we still have the 250 patients. Well, we don't have that much now. We'll have, let's say, 150. And then, so we're banking on, we're going to get this contract in September. All these patients are going to come with us, and it's going to be great because, we're just going to incorporate them, and then we're going to go in 6 months to the insurance and say, hey, listen, we have 150 patients with you guys. Yeah. Give us a full risk contract so we can make real money, September comes around.
September of
2022.
2022.
So September 2022 comes around. They're like, okay, your contract is good to go. You just don't have an effective date yet. So we're like, what does that mean? So they're saying pretty much you have a bank account, like to put it in perspective, you have a bank account, but you can't use it. So we're like, okay, so pretty much we have nothing. They're like, no, you're going to get it in 2 weeks. Okay.
Well, 2 weeks is reasonable. Okay.
Yeah, so we're like, okay, 2 weeks.
14 days. Yeah.
December's 14th, we get the effective date.
3 months later.
So now all these 150 patients that we had, they have, we're telling them to wait for us, but they have to go to the doctor because they need medicine.
They go somewhere else.
They went everywhere.
Yeah.
So we started the clinic with 5 patients.
Oh. From 250 to 5.
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit, bro.
Yeah, so now...
At 144?
No, this is different. This is now we're just getting $200 a month for these.
Oh, okay.
Whether they go or not, it's fine. We still get the $200, but it's like
only a G.
That's crap. That's what I'm saying.
And you got $8,900.
Not only that, then you got insurance. Then you got medical director. You have we have an APRN that sees the patients because the medical director is just the medical director. Well, we have an APRN that sees the patients. We have a medical assistant. We have a front desk, 2 vans, this, that, the other. We had a bunch of stuff.
It's not profitable.
Not at all. It's still not profitable. We have 58 patients right now because
you got to rebuild it.
Yeah, we had to start from scratch. So right now there's 58 patients. We're trying, it's tough, bro, because
where do you need to be for it to? You need to at 250. It would be worth it, right?
At 250, it's worth it because at that point you can
it's $50,000.
Not only that, you just I wouldn't look at it as the capitated rate. I would look at it as with 200 patients, you can go to insurance and get a direct contract.
Yeah.
So direct contract, you're dealing directly with the insurance and you're billing them for the codes that they have. So one patient might pay you $5,000, another might pay you $3,000, and this is every month, right? Whether they come or not. But you're the one that's responsible for that patient. So they need to go to the cardiologist. So like at that point, you would subcontract a cardiologist and say, hey, listen, you're going to come to my office twice a month, and we're going to get you 30 patients every time you come so you can see them.
But it sucks because at any point in time, the insurance company can just say, that code is no longer valid.
Well, that's funny that you say that. It actually happened already. So Medicare...
Yeah, you told us.
Medicare changed a bunch of codes. So they took away 2,000 something codes that you can no longer bill. So like all the clinics are like pulling their hair out. Like I can't pull my hair out, but they're pulling their hair out because they're losing so much like extra revenue that they can get. So at this point, it's just like a hope and a prayer to make sure that this continues.
How is that even fucking legal? That they can just say, hey, listen, we canceled all the codes.
Insurance companies the biggest
scam. It's insurance companies that are in bed with the government.
Exactly. They have no choice. They have to go based on what the government tells them.
Yeah. I mean, we're at 39 seconds. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on Happy Hour Holidays on YouTube and all your major podcast platforms. Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, and we'll be right back.
And we're back.
There you go.
With Happy Hour Holidays with Hector. We were kind of talking about all the medical centers and, we learned a lot here today with just how they work with the licenses, with the medical directors. And then you did get into real estate and you had some success there with the $1 million houses, just regular houses in general, just, going in.
Walk us through the process.
Yeah. So
if you're using a hard money lender, can you walk us through the process?
So on my recent flip, actually I never used one before. So I used the hard money lender. Ramis had recommended him. I called him up. I'm like, listen, how does this work? Because I had never done it, right? So he's like, oh, what's the deal? So I have X deal for X amount of money. The comps are in this. Okay, so pretty much send me the numbers to make sure they work, and then I'll let you know. Okay, cool. So I send him everything, nothing, and then really nothing's gonna happen. He sends it back to me. He's like, okay, yeah, it works. It works for me. Okay, cool. So what's the process? I tell him. He's like, all right, so you're gonna close in a week. I'm like, really? We're closing in a week? He's like, trust me, you're closing in a week. I said, okay, cool. Send me the statements, send me this, send me that, send me everything. So I send him everything. He pretty much sends me back. He's like, all right, this is gonna be your cash to close.
Which is how much percentage of?
So this cash to close on this deal was 15%. So he does 15%. I don't know.
You want to shout out the lender? Or?
Max from Nationwide Bankers. I used him. I know that I talked to a couple buddies of mine that are lenders in Miami. They're not lenders. They work for lenders in Miami. They're like, oh, I can get you somebody for 30%. I'm like, well, I got 15. They're like, damn, that's a good deal. You know? So like I said, we closed, right? Like he said, right on time, a week. We were closed, paid the 15%, got the deal.
An inspection period at all?
There was no inspection period. So he did have an appraisal done to make sure that after the ARV was going to be what we had talked about. So,
did you personally get an inspection?
No,
though?
he set on an appraisal.
No, but I'm saying an inspection.
no, there's no inspection.
No, there's no inspection. When you buy like I bought it wholesale, so there's no inspection period.
Oh, okay.
So
you walked around the house though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, we took a walk. We made sure Ramos went with me. We looked at everything.
Oh, he's basically an inspector.
Right, exactly. He's like, oh, look, this, that, the other. Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, there's a lot.
That's 15K. That's 20,000.
Yeah, but the money was there. Oh,
no, there was definitely money we made. So it was a good deal. So he did send out an appraisal. We walked the property. He's like, all right, so walk me through more or less what you plan on doing with this. So I told him my ideas. I told him what we were gonna get done, and he's like, "Okay, yeah." And he's like, "Stainless steel appliances." I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Quartz." I'm like, "Yes." You know, kind of give him like, "Oh, I'm gonna put these high hats,
recess lighting.
I'm gonna put all that stuff. You know, I'm gonna put this type of floor. I'm gonna make sure the bathroom looks like this, that, the other." He's like, "Okay, well, yeah, no, that makes sense. You know, it looks good. I'm gonna do a roof. I'm gonna do AC. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the other."
Oh shit! You had to do the roof too.
I did roof. I did AC. I did pretty much all cosmetic, and then I had to redo plumbing in the bathroom because when we opened up the bathroom, the master bathroom, they had these savages that run pipes under the flooring without like they had just like put the pipe, like stuff it with like 3 inches of sand. And then another like 3 inches of concrete. So it was like on the ground. Like it wasn't in the wall embedded or anything.
Wow.
So like we had to rerun all the plumbing, do all that. We did that. And then toward the end, the buyer that was going to buy it wanted to get a tankless water heater. She's like, "Oh, you think you can do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah, we're going to do it. To close the deal, we'll do whatever it takes, you know? Like it's a deal. Let's get it done."
The price bumps up though, right? Or no?
No, it was within the margins.
How much is a tankless water heater? Like $5,000?
No, it was to get the work done because they had to run wire, obviously, to the laundry room. And when they did that, they had to cut drywall and stuff like that. So he's like, normally I charge like $600 to do it. And I'm
That's
like,
not bad.
Fucking golden. Yeah. Let's go. But he charged me $2,000, which is still great.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
That's including the part.
Everything. So I mean, it worked out for me. And he did it in 2 days. So it was like,
oh, perfect.
With the tankless water heaters, Hector, you still have to have some kind of electrical outlet, right?
Well, yeah, you need an additional cable. So like the water heater has one cable that runs to it, so you need an additional one to it. Okay. But it's way more efficient.
Okay.
And you get constant water. I mean, hot water.
Yeah, I was looking at those.
Constant. It's great. Yeah. I would. On the next house I buy, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
100%. Because in the house I had in Miami, I had 2 water heaters, and that shit was running up the bill.
So tankless is better than...
Oh, yeah. Yes. Tankless is in your hot stuff.
Yeah. But think about it. Like a big water heater is like a, 50 gallon? It's huge. Yeah. Like, so it has to fill up with hot water. So all that time you're burning...
Holy fuck.
Electricity. This thing is just running through the water heater constantly. Hot.
How much is a tankless water heater?
They're like $500. Yeah. Like a really good one is like $500-$600.
Why the fuck do I still have a...
Well, I mean, just
take water heater.
Hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Right?
Don't fix
so
it, right?
It's like you don't look at it, you don't pay attention to it. Yeah. When it goes bad, then that's definitely an option you should look at. And it's way more like efficient in space. So like if you want to use extra space, because where it was in the house that I had, it was in the laundry room.
Yeah.
And then it was a stackable unit, but there was like no space for it because the water heater was so big.
Yeah.
So then it was the only thing in the house that I didn't remove when I initially bought it.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, look, it's in good shape. I'm not gonna obviously you're trying to save money.
Yeah.
But when she's like, well, I have a couple because there's not enough space for the washer and dry. I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll put your tankless water heater. She's like, what's a tankless water heater? I'm like, I got you. Don't worry about it. Because my parents have it in Miami.
Yeah.
Like they have it in their house and they've had it for like 15 years. So I'm like,
they last longer too.
They last way longer.
Shit,
and I'm like, this is what you have to put. And they're like, what is that? I'm like, don't worry about it. We'll get it done.
Yeah.
And then when she went and looked at it, she was like freaking out. She was like, "Oh my God, it's amazing. We have so much space." I'm like, "I told you I was gonna get you." I'm like, "Let's close this done. Let's get it done. Let's get it done." But yeah, no.
So when you had your hard money loan on that property, what kind of payments were you looking at paying?
So we were. So it was
it's
a 12 months.
only?
It was 12 months maturing, and it was only for interest at that time. So you had to pay.
So you don't have to pay towards principal.
No,
at all.
it's all interest. All interest. So at the 12 month, he's like, you can. He's like, more than likely you're gonna sell it before the 12 months because realistically you are. But he's like, if you decide you want to keep it, you can refinance, cash out refinance on it.
Oh,
take out your equity and then just get a conventional loan for whatever amount of time.
Not through them though.
Well, he says he can help you out with that, but usually you would probably want to go somewhere else because you're gonna get more competitive rates.
Yeah.
But he's like, you can do that, or obviously you sell the house and you pay it off.
And that's
so
the goal.
From start to finish, how many months would you say it took?
All right,
Did it take the 12 months?
No.
Hell no. If you're doing that, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, no. When I bought it in September. We closed in October. The weekend before, the week of Thanksgiving, they had already turned in the house to me, like ready to go.
Okay.
So we listed it like the day before Thanksgiving. We listed it on the MLS and we sold it right before New Year's.
Nice. Oh, so that was like 4 months.
It was like a 2 month turnaturnaround.
Holy shit!
That's the way, and that's
who are your contractors?
These guys are magicians, bro. These guys are magicians. I don't want to give them all because everybody's gonna want to use them, and then they don't have it for me. I'm playing. These guys are great. Anybody that wants to get them, I'll make sure that they.
But the biggest thing, Hector Wright, is staying on top of the subs. First, you got to find the subs, which is very challenging.
It's all obviously,
Did Ramis help you out?
Ramis did. I was gonna say Ramis did because I obviously new to the area. Yeah. I knew people in Miami that could help me, but when I reached out to them, because I did reach out to some of them, they're like, well, you're all the way in Tampa. We gotta charge you extra.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, but I'm like, bro, look, I'll fix up the AC in the house and you could stay there instead of paying a hotel.
While you're fixing it? Yeah. That's not a bad deal.
I'm like, you can stay at the house. You stay at the house.
Get away from the wife.
Food. I'll, do whatever I gotta do. Yeah. Well, you still far, this, that, the other. And I'm like, God,
it's always tough,
you're trying to kill me here, But Ramis is like, this is the guy that you gotta use for the roof. So I called him Jasmani. Mm-hmm. And then Jasmani.
How many times have I heard that name?
Jasmani did the roof and he's like, I'm like, bro, look, do you have anybody for AC? He's like, I got the guy. The guy came out and did the AC. I'm like, you got anybody that can help me on this side? Oh, I got the guy for the bathroom. I got this guy that, I build the team and
they're
these
all
guys,
Cuban, right?
They're all Cuban.
Yeah.
And Ramis like, you're gonna love them, He's like, they speak your language. And I'm like, great, I love it. And then when I got everybody together, everybody worked great. And it was I told them
for the floors. Andrew?
No, Raul.
Oh.
He's cousins or friends with Julio.
Yeah.
So this, I told him, bro, look, from the get, I'm like, bro, look, this is a hard money loan. Like, I gotta get this out as soon as possible. He's like, don't worry about it. We're gonna be here. And then the funny, I'm like, yeah, you're gonna be here early. I'm like, I've heard this before. Obviously, everybody has. So then the next morning he calls me at 7:45. I'm like, God damn, this guy's not lying. He's at the house, and I'm like, hello. He's like, wait, where are the keys? I'm like, shit, they're in my truck. So I had to drive my ass to the house to give it to them.
Where was the house at?
It was on Seminole Heights, right off of.
Damn, from where you live to Seminole Heights?
It was right off minutes. Sly. On hold on,
Armenia?
East of the 275.
Yeah, man.
Tampa Heights, right?
Well, no, it was right on Sly, right by the Hillsborough River, right off the hill. So it was a good area.
Yeah, good area to flip and put in
Actually, I lost another property that was right across the street from it. Yeah. They were renting it and then they were gonna sell it, and then the people were undecisive, and then they put it on the market, and Ramesh yo, they put it. Yeah. So I called the guy right away, and he never answered, and then 2 days 3-4 hours later, I see it on the market pending. I'm like, God damn.
It was a good deal, man.
It was a good deal. I would have gotten it super cheap, and then obviously I had the comp across the street.
Yeah.
So how big was the house?
It was 1,443 square feet, I believe.
What was the rehab cost?
It was supposed to be 50, but obviously, it always goes a little over. So it ended up being 60 grand.
That's still not bad
No.
because you bought it for
I bought it for $290. I put it for $60 in, and I sold it for $430.
Boom.
That's a good day's work.
Yeah,
actually, that's a good year's
2 months worth.
Yeah, man.
3 months.
I would tell my friends, and they're like, "Bro, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it." I'm like, "Man, the numbers don't lie. You know, like
it's
2
just
plus
hard.
2 is 4 unless you use the new math. You know,
So you would pretty much say hard money loans are not a bad way to go.
No,
if you're looking to fix and flip.
I don't think so because, first of all, you limit your exposure. Obviously, because there's way less capital that you're putting in. Yep. And if you're going to flip, then you're going to make money and it's going to be quick, you know, because...
Now, you do understand, and I know you do, short-term capital gains tax
right, no, you got to...
is higher than long-term capital
Yeah,
gains
no, 100%.
tax,
But like if in the case of using a hard money loan, like you can refinance it later, but it's like...
Have you thought about maybe doing that on the next one? Because
I have thought about it, but I ideally would
rent out.
Would wanna, because we talked about, you know, getting into the physical therapy aspect of it. I'm trying to get a physical therapy office going. So ideally, I would want to do like 1 or 2 more flips before
to build that.
Yeah. To build out.
What would you call it? Your physical therapy?
Well, it's a franchise.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's a franchise. They're franchising.
What's the
It's
cost?
called Physical Therapy Now.
What's the cost?
The franchise fee is $47,000.
Oh, that's not that much.
No.
And does it come with the IACA or
no? The ACA you have to like
you still have to do it for that.
So for example, if you do any any medical office, right now we have the medical center. If we wanted to open up a second medical center, you still have to do an ACA because it's for each specific location.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like stupid. It doesn't make sense, you know. Like if you already have one, you're just branching out to different locations. It should fall under the same ACA. It doesn't.
You would think that the franchise that you're purchasing should already have that process set up.
Again. They do have it set up for the main headquarter, but they don't have it for each individual office because each individual office needs a specific license ACA number. Yeah. So it makes like no sense.
Pardon my French, but that's dumb as fuck.
That's called bureaucracy, dog. They're just trying to get an extra $2,500 from each person. That's the fee. $2,500.
25.
Then you have to pay a financial projection. That costs another $1,000. Then you have to pay another this and another that. You end up being $6,000-$7,000 into opening up just the licensing.
So in all, what do you think that franchise is going to cost you? Probably like $55.
Well, a little more because of the rent. You're right, because you're gonna rent a space, 3 months, this, that, the other.
Yeah, we're talking about the rent off air.
Right. It's like $3,900 for 1,400 square feet, which is. I mean,
not bad.
I find it to be
compared to Miami
that's
prices.
What I'm saying.
That's
what I'm telling you.
steal.
Like I find it to be relatively reasonable.
Yeah,
you know. And everybody's like, "Oh, Tampa's so cheaper." And then in some areas, like I was telling him before you were here, I was telling him that there's a location I looked at in Tampa Palms, right off Cross Creek. And
by the Publix.
By the Publix, it was $7,800 for 1,800 square feet, which is ridiculously expensive.
18,000 square feet?
No, 1,800 square feet.
1,800 square feet, 7,900, bro.
Wow.
Yeah. And the shopping center where the Publix is.
Jeez.
So
when the Twisted Treat and all that stuff. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, all the way out there, it doesn't justify it. But whatever it is, somebody will pay for it.
Yeah, somebody will.
It's just the way the market works.
So we got 2 minutes and 58 seconds. So this is where, usually in the point of the show, where we like to ask our guests what they would like to leave our audience members with. Maybe a piece of motivation, some advice. We call it is it the last words or the final words? Yeah. What are your final words?
Oh, man.
Any last words?
I was listening to a podcast a little while ago, and Cameron Haynes, he's like a big time. I don't know if you guys seen him. He's like a big time bow hunter. Like he was on Joe Rogan a couple times.
Like bow?
Yeah, like bow hunting.
Holy
like
shit.
This guy was like it's like a freak. You know, like he runs like 30 miles with jeans on and shit like that.
What the fuck?
So one of his like I started following his page, and one of his he sells merchandise like shirts like this, and one of his shirts says, "Nobody cares, work harder."
I like that.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like, are you really doing it just for somebody, or are you doing it for yourself? You know, like nobody gives a shit what you do, unless what we talked about, like how many times you get fucked before you get pregnant, type deal. That's the same thing. Like, just do it. Like, it doesn't matter. You know, at the end of the day, like, you got to do it and not expect nobody to give you praise. Yeah. You're doing it because you want to make sure that you succeed and all that stuff. At the end of the day, are you doing it for other people or are you doing it for yourself? And if you're doing it for other people, nobody gives a shit. Work harder. Because at the end of the day, is what have you done for me lately?
Yeah. No, what have you done? Bro, that's from a fucking stand-up comic line, isn't it?
I don't know.
But what have you done for me lately?
It's true, look. At the end of the day,
that's Eddie Murphy, I think.
You could talk about everything you did 3-4 years ago. Nobody really gives a fuck. Yeah. They just care about what you've done in the last month or two for them or for yourself or for anybody. You know?
And you know what's funny? Like, the majority of people will not care after they're done with their interaction with you.
And they gratification. Home, you're done.
You're done. Yeah. The biggest thing is you gotta expect a lot from yourself and very little from everybody else.
Expect nothing.
That.
Yeah, because if you
come up with that.
No, I heard it on. I saw it on a bumper sticker or something. But that's the biggest thing. And hey, I really want to appreciate Hector, you coming in, man. It's been a great story. Hearing all the from you coming from Cuba to America and making yourself successful here and coming to Tampa. We love having you in Tampa, man. Hoping to hang out more. Like, comment, and subscribe. Really appreciate everybody listening to our podcast. We're going to continue to bring, people like this that are motivated, that put that hustle and inspiration in you. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching and listening.
Cheers, holidayzers.